वागर्था विवसंप्रोक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ. I prostrate at the feet of Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati, who are parents to this Jagat, who are blended and inseparable like the word and the meaning. This is a beautiful composition by great Kalidasa. Here is a catch. When I say Parvati Parameshwara, it is Parvati and Parameshwara. The Sanskrit is a beautiful language. You can break the word at any place. If you make this Parvati Pa and Rameshwara, it becomes Īśvara and Rama. Rameshwara is Rama and Rama is Vishnu. So, this is a prayer to Īśvara and Parvati as well as Īśvara and Vishnu. Now, today is Shivaratri. We are celebrating Shiva. Let's go ahead with our Shivaratri session. Shri Gurubhyo Namaḥ. Wish you all a very happy Shivaratri and a warm welcome to this satsang convened at the auspicious day of Mahashivaratri to celebrate Shiva. Now, before we proceed further, let us briefly look at the significance of Mahashivaratri. We have several stories and beliefs associated with Mahashivaratri. Some say it is the wedding day of Shiva and Parvati. Some say it is this day Shiva drank poison and became Nilakantha. Another belief is that this is the day Shiva helped resolve the fight between Vishnu and Brahma. It is not all. We have Kannappa, who gave his eyes to Shiva, and a hunter who spent a whole night doing Bilvapatra Puja to Shiva. We also have Markandeya, who was bestowed immortality by Shiva on this day. Let us look at the Vedantic perspective of this auspicious day and night associated with Shiva. The 14th day of every lunar month, or the day before the new moon, is known as Shivaratri. Among all the 12 Shivaratris that occur in a calendar year, Mahashivaratri, the one that occurs in February-March, is of the most spiritual significance. On this night, the northern hemisphere of the planet is positioned in such a way that there is a natural upsurge of energy in a human being. This is a day when nature is pushing one towards one's spiritual peak. To allow this natural upsurge of energies to find their way, one has to remain awake with spine vertical throughout the night. Let this night not just be a night of wakefulness. Let this night be a night of awakening for all of us. Come on, friends, let us celebrate Shiva in our unique style with bhajans, couple of songs, and a couple of talks on Shiva. We'll begin with a small bhajan to start with. I invite Sri Vikram Vishwanath to give us that holy start. Vikram, please.
Chandrashekharaaya Namah Om Gangadharaya Namah Om Chandrashekharaaya Namah Om Gangadharaya Namah Om Lingeshwaraya Namah Om Sarveshwaraya Namah Om Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Chandrashekharaaya Namah Om Gangadharaya Namah Om Chandrashekharaaya Namah Om Gangadharaya Namah Om Mrityunjayaya Namah Om Jagadishwaraya Namah Om Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya Namah Chandrashekharaaya Namah Om Gangadharaya Namah Shiva Shiva Shivaya Namah Om Hara Hara Haraya Namah Om ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮಃ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮಃ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮಃ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮಃ. ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರಾಯ ನಮಃ ಗಂಗಾಧರಾಯ ನಮಃ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರಾಯ ನಮಃ ಗಂಗಾಧರಾಯ ನಮಃ ಮೃತ್ಯುಂಜಯಾಯ ನಮಃ ಸರ್ವೇಶ್ವರಾಯ ನಮಃ ಓಂ ನಮಃ ಶಿವಾಯ ನಮಃ.
Thank you, Vikram, for a soulful rendition. Vikram has invoked Shiva in our hearts, but we need to perform a few swagat satkars to the guest. How is it done? Welcome with flowers, fruits, ghee, and surrender to him totally. Srimati Divya Kiran will now guide us with her wonderful folk song, Sojugada Soju Mallige.
Om Namah Shivaya. Madeva, 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 Madeva. Sojugada Suju Mallige ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅಂದಾವರೆ ಮುಂದಾವರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಾವರೆ ಪುಷ್ಪ ಚಂದಕ್ಕಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಬಿಲ್ಪತ್ರೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚಂದಕ್ಕಿ ಮಾಲೆ ಬಿಲ್ಪತ್ರೆ ತುಳಸಿದಳವ ಮಾಧವ್ನ ಪೂಜೆಗೆ ಬಂದು ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಗಿವ್ನಿ ತುಪ್ಪವ ಕಾಯಿಸಿವ್ನಿ ಕಿತ್ತಾಳೆ ಹಣ್ಣ ತಂದಿವ್ನಿ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಿತ್ತಾಳೆ ಹಣ್ಣ ತಂದಿವ್ನಿ ಮಾದಪ್ಪ ಕಿತ್ತಾಳಿ ಬರುವ ಪರಸೆಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬೆಟ್ಟತ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗೋರ್ಗೆ ಹಟ್ಟಿ ಹಂಬಲವ್ಯಾಕ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಮಾದೇವ ಗತಿಯೆಂದು ಮಾದೇವ ನೀವೇ ಮಾದೇವ ನೀವೇ ಮಾದೇವ ನೀವೇ ಬೆಟ್ಟತ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗೋರ್ಗೆ ಹಟ್ಟಿ ಹಂಬಲವ್ಯಾಕ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಮಾದೇವ ಗತಿಯೆಂದು ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಉಚ್ಚೆಳ್ಳು ನಂಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚೇವು ನಿನ್ನ ಪರುಸೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಳಗಾರ ಮಾದಯ್ಯ ಮಾದಯ್ಯ ನೀನೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಳಗಾರ ಮಾದಯ್ಯ ಏಳು ಮಲೆಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚೆವು ಕೌದಳ್ಳಿ ಕಣಿವೇಲಿ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಗುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೋಜುಗಾದ ಸೂಜು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮಾದೇವ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ದುಂಡು ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆ.
Thank you, Divya, for a very energetic address to Shiva, who is a Stuti Priya. After welcoming our today's chief guest, Shiva, we have to know whom we are welcoming, worshipping. By knowing his background, his nature, his deeds, his vibhuti, his mahima, etc., who else can do this better than Dr. Ahalya? I invite Dr. Ahalya to talk about Shiva Tattva.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Angikam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarvavangmayam aharyam chandrataradi tam vande sattvikam shivam. Whose body movement spans the whole universe, whose speech is the language of the universe, whose ornaments are the celestial bodies, we bow down to that Sattvika Shiva. The trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara are responsible for the Srishti, Sthiti and Laya of the entire creation. Brahma is not worshipped very much per se. Vishnu is worshipped mainly through his avatars of Rama and Krishna. Shiva, Rama and Krishna have mainly been revered by the learned and the laymen of this country for millennia. The Tattvatraya, Shiva, Rama, Krishna, the three divine essence, represents the ideal at three different levels. Shiva, the highest that can be represented in an individual, Rama, a wonderful model for a family, and Krishna symbolizes how to live in society. So they are our role models in the three different spheres. The earliest reference of Shiva comes from Rig Veda, Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha. The Rudra of Rig Veda becomes Shiva in Yajurveda, Namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha. Purana, Agama, Kavya Shastra give enormous information and details about Shiva. Shiva is worshipped as Linga, as a Pratika, and becomes Shankara when he is in the Saguna form or as Pratima. Liyate iti lingam, layanat lingam. Linga is a symbol or a representation. That which can dissolve is, and not that it is destroyed, but it is dissolved, much like the sugar that melts in the milk. Layanat lingam. Brahmajnana is aparoksha and cannot be expressed. However, till a person becomes Jnana-nishta and is able to dwell in the Nirguna Swarupa, he needs an alampana, and Shivalinga is one such form. Shiva is said to have 5 faces: Sadyojata, Vamadeva, Tatpurusha, Aghora and Ishana. Tatpurushaya vidmahe Mahadevaya dhimahi, a common mantra that we chant. These 5 faces signify a specific Mahabhuta and a direction. Like Ishana stands for Akasha Tattva and the direction is Urdhva or Antariksha. In fact, that brings us to the 5 Mahabhuta Lingas in South India. After all, Shiva is Bhavadbhavya Bhuteshwaram Bhutanatham Shivam Shankaram Shambhumīśānamīde. Akasha, that is the Chidambara, it is in Chidambara. In fact, Akasha is never in the Murta, it's not in a form, it cannot be made out. And therefore, when we look for Akasha Linga, it is that we are unable to see, and that becomes the Chidambara Rahasya. Vayulinga in Kalahasti, Agnilinga in Arunachala, Jalalinga in Tiruvannaikkaval, Prithvilinga in Kanchipura in Ekambreshwara. That leads us to the 12 special places where Shiva manifested as light and stays as Jyotirlinga. Saurashtre, Somanatanja, Sri Shaile, Mallikarjunam, and so it goes on till Kedar. In fact, it is said that from Kedar to Rameshwara, it falls on the same longitude. And in fact, there is the placement of these 12 Jyotirlingas, they say, is in the Fibonacci pattern, starting from Krishneshwara at the center. If we draw a line across the various Shivalingas, starting from Krishneshwara, going on to Bhimashankara, Trayambaka, Omkareshwara, Dwaraka, coming down south to Rameshwara, Sri Shaila, and to Kedara, it forms the shape of a conch shell. And there is a lot of information regarding this. In fact, life itself is a paradox. Many questions remain unanswered till we are ready to either receive the answers or accept what is available. Shiva Tattva is also similar. Lot of paradoxes that appear to us till we understand the real significance behind them. Shiva is the god of health, Vaidyanatha, Mrityunjaya, but he is also the lord of death, Mahakala. He is the deity of Ananda, known as Shiva, Shambhu, Mayaskara, but he is also the fierce god, Rudra, Ugra, Bhima. He is the chief of army of deities, Ganadisha. He is also the peaceful lord, Shankara. Shiva is the destroyer, Layakari, but he destroys to start a new one, Tirodhanakareshwara. He is the lord of dance, Nataraja, as much as he is a Smashanavasi. His Damaru starts the language, but he is Mauna Vyakya Prakatita. In fact, every dance performance even today starts with the first bow to Shiva, and all dance forms, especially the Ravana Krita Tandava Nritya, Shiva Tandava Stotra, which goes as Jatatavi Galajjala Pravaha Pavitastale Galevalambalambitam Bhujanga Tunga Malikam Dhamat 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 Dhaman Ninada Maddamarvayam Chakara Chanda Tandavam Tanotuna Shiva Shivam. In fact, such beautiful verses that are ascribed to him to signify the Nataraja Swarupa. In reality, Shiva transcends both auspicious and destructive. He is beyond names and traits. If we look within ourselves, we find both the attributes, often contradictory, of gentleness and violence, of peace and agitation, all that reside within us. These merely represent the diversity of our personality. Shiva Tattva shows us that we can resolve this dichotomy by going beyond the opposites. The symbolism of Shiva. He is said to be white in color, Karpura Gaura, and signifies that he is not attached to anything. In fact, white color reflects everything, whereas Vishnu is dark in color, absorbs everything, as he is the Sthiti Palaka. He becomes Neelakanta when he is depicted as the one who swallowed the poison during Amrita Matana. In fact, all the deities aspired for the riches and wonders that emerged during Amrita Matana, but Shiva swallowed the Ghora Halahala, the venomous poison, and saved the world. This depicts his self-control, and he becomes Neelakanta or Vishakanta. He is Vyomakesha. Vyoma is space. It is as if his hair is spread out in space. This is a comparison to drive home the all-pervasiveness or the vibhutva of Shiva. He is Jatadhara with matted hair, which signifies Dhyana Swarupi Shiva. Ganga flowing out of his head symbolizes the dynamism of his all-round jnana, and he becomes Gangadhara. He is Chandrasekhara or Chandramaulishwara with the crescent moon adorning him, which is constant. It is neither waning nor waxing, represents Jnanopasana, the constant striving to learn more without becoming complacent. The moon is also a symbol for joy. For what is the use of that jnana if it does not lead to ananda? He is Trinetra, Virupaksha, Palaksha, Trayambaka, denoting the third eye on his forehead. The third eye is for laya. It talks of anger. Again, another paradox, the coolness of moon and the heat of the third eye. We need peace and wrath. Goodness doesn't imply helplessness or weakness. We need strength and control, anger and gentleness. With his two eyes, he pervades space, and with his third eye, he pervades time, and therefore he becomes Mahakala or Kalakala. Since he pervades both time and space, he becomes Vishveshwara or Vishwanatha, the very Lord of universe. He is Nagabhushana or Nageshwara, since the serpents adorn his body. He is Swaramaya, as we say in the Ashtotara, as he holds the Damaru in one arm. He is Layakaraka and holds a Laya Vadya, a percussion instrument. In fact, it is said the beating of his Damaru started with it emerged the 14 Maheshwara Sutras, which form the basis for the Divya Bhasha Samskrita. He is Pinakini, holds a Pranava Dhanus. Omkara is in his bow. Omkara represents the Avastatraya, and Shiva is a witness to the three states and therefore transcends them. He is Shulapani, as he holds the Trishula or the trident, which represents that he can take care of our Tapatraya, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika and Adidaivika. Therefore, all dukkha is eliminated. Īśvaro is the master of the universe, the source of all Aishwarya. Still, he goes out with a begging bowl, absolutely owns nothing. Since he is detached from all the wealth and grandeur, he only requires one thing, and that is a bilvapatra and a spoon of water. In fact, so much is said about bilvapatra in our classics. Tridalam, Trigunakaram, Trinetrancha Triyayudam, Trijanma Papa Samharam, Ekabilvam Shivarpanam. He is in ChinMudra or Dhyana Mudra. He is both Nataraja and Yogeshwara, which is beautifully brought about by this comparison of Mudra and Hasta. Mudra is a hand gesture of contemplation, and Hasta is a gesture of communication. Mudra is sealing and Hasta is offering. Mudra is inward and Hasta is outward. Mudra depicts yantra and Hasta depicts Natya. So he becomes Nataraja and Yogeshwara, one who enjoys rasa and one who can go beyond it. He wears the Gajajina or the Vyagrajina. The elephant stands for intoxication and attachment, and tiger stands for anger. Shiva slains all these basic human emotions and wears them on his body. He goes beyond it. He is a smashana bhasmadari. Bhasmoddulita vigrahaya, as we say in the Sahasranama. Bhasma is what finally remains. No further reduction is possible for any material thing that exists. He is the Manmatha Bhasmadari. He has killed Kama, desire, and wears that Bhasma. He is Vrishabha Vahana. Nandi, bull, is not as fast as a horse, but definitely steadier. Jnana Rupi Shiva has Dharma Rupi Nandi as his Vahana. In fact, he is beyond dharma and adharma, and because of loka sangraha, he abides by dharma. He is Girisha Kailasavasi as he stays atop mountains. He is Ardhanarishwara, for without Shakti, he is nowhere, as Acharya Shankara says, Shiva Shaktya Yuktu. He is Pashupati, the Lord of the entire creation. He sublimates his bhava, that is his personal emotion, to the level of rasa, that is the impersonal art experience, which is perhaps the best way to combat one's baser emotions. He looks at everything as a grand drama and therefore enjoys it. He becomes the Mahayogi, the Yogeshwara. To such a Lord Shiva, on this auspicious occasion of Magha Shivaratri, we pay our respects, our salutations to him. to him, to that Sadashiva who can Janmaja Dukkha Vinashaka Lingam Tat Pranamami Sadashiva Lingam, who can by the very chanting of his name, by fasting that night, by offering him a Bilvapatra, who can take away the dukkha of Janmantara. Namaste. Thank you all. I derived this information from Dr. R. Ganesh's book Shiva, Rama and Krishna. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a wonderful lecture. After welcoming and understanding the greatness of Shiva, how do we want Shankara to come? The enchanting grandeur, beauty, the vibration he generates, energy and the joy he brings as he comes with his cosmic dance. I invite Srimati Indumati Venkat to welcome Shiva with a beautiful composition by Kamalesha Vithala, Kuniyuta Naliyuta Ba Shankara.
ಢಣ 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 ಎಂದು ಡಮರುಗ ಧ್ವನಿಸಲು ಠಣ 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 ಎಂದು ವೃಷಭವು ನಲಿಯೇ ಢಣ 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 ಎಂದು ಡಮರುಗ ಧ್ವನಿಸಲು ಠಣ 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 ಎಂದು ವೃಷಭವು ನಲಿಯೇ ಜುಣ ತಕ ತಕ ಜುಣ ತಾಕಿಟ ತಕಿ ಕಿಟ ಜುಣ ತಕ ತಕ ಜುಣ ತಾಕಿಟ ತಕಿ ಕಿಟ ಜುಣ ಎಂದು ನಂದಿ ಮೃದಂಗವ ಬಾರಿಸ ಜುಣ ಎಂದು ನಂದಿ ಮೃದಂಗವ ಬಾರಿಸಲ್ ಕುಣಿಯುತ ನಲಿಯುತ ಬಾ ಶಂಕರ ಮಣಿಯುವೆ ನಿನ್ನಡಿ ಅನುದಿನ ಪುರಹಾರ ಕುಣಿಯುತ ನಲಿಯುತ ಬಾ ಹರ 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 ಎಂದು ಗಣಗಳು ಸ್ತುತಿಸಲು ಪೊರೆಯಂದಹಿ ವಿದು ಗಂಗೆಯರ್ ನಮಿಸೆ ಹರ 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 ಎಂದು ಗಣಗಳು ಸ್ತುತಿಸಲು ಪೊರೆಯಂದಹಿ ವಿದು ಗಂಗೆಯರ್ ನಮಿಸೆ ಸರಿವಪ ನಿನಿಸ ಸ್ವರಗಳ ಪಾಡುತ್ತ ಸರಿವಪ ನಿನಿಸ ಸ್ವರಗಳ ಪಾಡುತ್ತ ನಾರದ ತುಂಬುರು ಗಾನವ ಮಾಡಲು ಕುಣಿಯುತ ನಲಿಯುತ ಬಾ ವರಕಮಲೇಶನ ಚರಿತೆಯ ಜಗದೊಳು ಪರಿ ಪರಿ ಭಾವದಿ ನರ್ತಿಸಿ ತೋರುತ ವರಕಮಲೇಶನ ಚರಿತೆಯ ಜಗದೊಳು ಪರಿ ಪರಿ ಭಾವದಿ ನರ್ತಿಸಿ ತೋರುತ ಪೊರೆಯುತ ಭಕುತರ ವರವಿಯುತ ಬಾ ಆ ಆ ಪೊರೆಯುತ ಭಕುತರ ವರವಿಯುತ ಬಾ ಗಿರಿಜಾಲಿಂಗಿತ 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 ನಾಟ್ಯಚಾರ್ಯ ಗಿರಿಜಾಲಿಂಗಿತ 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 ನಾಟ್ಯಚಾರ್ಯ ಕುಣಿಯುತ ನಲಿಯುತ ಬಾ ಶಂಕರ ಮಣಿಯುವೆ ನಿನ್ನಡಿ ಅನುದಿನ ಪುರಹರ ಕುಣಿಯುತ ಶಂಕರ ನಲಿಯುತ ಶಂಕರ ಕುಣಿಯುತ ನಲಿಯುತ ಬಾ.
Thank you, Indu ma'am, for an enchanting singing. Vedanta gives paramount importance to Guru. No God without Guru. No Gnana without Guru. No Mukti without Guru. And Shiva is Adi Guru, worshipped as Dakshinamurthy. Dakshinamurthy Ashtakam is a great poetic description of Brahman, commentary on Vedanta, composed by Adi Shankara. I invite Dr. Hegde sir to explain the importance, significance, and tell us about Dakshinamurthy.
Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Sadashiva represents Sri Dakshinamurthy, the Adi Brahma Vidya acharya. Whenever we make any form of presentation, we make an offering to our Guru, because whatever we have learnt from our Guru. Our Guru is great. Our Guru's Guru is great. But the greatest is the Adi Guru, Sri Dakshinamurthy, who is none other than Lord Shiva in the form of a teacher. Shivaratri is a very important day for all students of Vedanta. And on this day, we offer our respect to the Adi Guru, Sri Dakshinamurthy. I want you to see this picture of Sri Dakshinamurthy. See the picture of the young teacher sitting under a banyan tree with a radiant smile on his face, with the ChinMudra in his right hand, and his right leg is kept on, whatever you can see under Nataraja, symbolically of Apasmara. As you see this picture, meditate on this picture, see this picture in your eye, and slowly see this picture in your mind. This picture is very symbolic, and let this symbol of Sri Dakshinamurthy be in our minds all the time. Here is a teacher who is teaching, but there is something very unique about the teaching. The teacher is communicating in silence. What is that which you can communicate in silence? The highest form of teaching in Brahma Vidya is to teach our true nature, or Mahavakya, I am Atma Brahma. This teaching is not something that can be communicated by words. It is not something that can be understood by mind. Yat vacha nivartante aprapya manasa saha. That is what the Taittiriya Upanishad says. And when the teacher cannot communicate with words and which cannot be understood with the mind, so what does the teacher do? The teacher sits in silence. And in silence, it is not a communication, but it is a communion. The significance of the Mahavakya comes there, that my essential nature is not what I show it as my body-mind. It is only my ego or my vyavahara self. But through Guru and Shastra, I understand that I have to surrender to my real nature or paramarthika. And once we understand the significance of I am Atma Brahma, that is the significance that Sri Dakshinamurthy is expressing in silence through the ChinMudra. See the smile on the face of Sri Dakshinamurthy. That represents Svatma Ramam. He is reveling in himself. And once you understand the significance of this Mahavakya, Atman evatmana tushtaha. A person is complete in himself. You don't have to look for happiness outside. This is the essential teaching of all Vedanta. Once the Guru has given this Mahavakya, and once this has been understood, then remember, Dakshinamurthy keeps the right leg on Apasmara. Never forget this. On this day of Shivaratri, let us make this commitment. Our teachers have been again and again trying to tell us our true nature is not this body-mind. Our true nature is not this ego. It is our higher self. I am Atma Brahma, as said in the Mandukya Upanishad. There is a nice Dhyana Shloka which says, īśvaro gururātmeti mūrtibheda vibhāgine vyomavad vyāptadehāya dakṣiṇāmūrtaye namaḥ. Īśvara is Dakshinamurti. My guru is certainly Dakshinamurti. But here, Atma, I am also Dakshinamurti. Our acharya, Swami Paramarthananda, has given us 5 capsules to remember. And these are the 5 capsules we need to remember. On this day of Shivaratri, let us internalize this teaching of these 5 capsules. And that is the significance of Sri Dakshinamurti keeping one right leg all the time on Apasmara, that I will not forget this. And what is this teaching? I am of the nature of eternal and all-pervading consciousness. My true nature is of Sat Chit Ananda. If that is my true nature, I am the only source of permanent peace, security, and happiness. Because of this nature, I enliven this body, and through this body, I'm able to experience this material world. I'm able to interact with this material world. Very importantly, asangoham comes in the 4th line. Anything that happens to this body, or to the mind, or to the world around me, cannot affect me, because of I, as Atma, I am of a higher order of reality compared to anything else that I experience, which is anatma, which is of a lower order of reality. If I remember this, nandati, nandati, nandateva. Shivaratri is there all the time. Shiva as laya karta has destroyed our ignorance on this day. And as long as I remember, I am in purnatvam. And if I forget this, I am in samsara. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you, sir, for absorbing an insightful talk on Shiva. Thank you so much, sir. Vedanta says bhakti is the essential ingredient, whether you are doing your duty, doing your japa, tapa, puja, or understanding Shiva. Now that we have learned so much about Shiva, our Shivaratri will become more meaningful. Here is a beautiful poetic composition on what we heard from Dr. Ahalya and Dr. Hegde sir. The song describes Saguna and Nirguna Swarupa of Shiva. Let us listen to Namo Namo Shankara by Sri Avinash.
Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Today, I will sing a Hindi song from the movie Kedarnath. As this song is in Hindi, I would like to say a few words in Hindi about this song before I sing. सबसे पहले सभी को महाशिवरात्रि की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। ये गीत मुझे इसलिए बहुत प्रिय है क्योंकि इस गीत में बड़े ही सरल शब्दों में कई ऐसी बातें बताई गई हैं जो हम अपने परम वेदांता के सेशंस में अक्सर सुनते और सीखते हैं। उदाहरण के तौर पर एक वाक्य है, सृष्टि के जन्म से भी पहले तेरा वास था, ये जग रहे या ना रहे, रहेगी तेरी आस्था। इसका मतलब ब्रह्मन और कॉन्शियसनेस प्रिंसिपल is eternal and always exists and is independent of the world that we see and experience. ऐसा ही एक और वाक्य है, मेरा कर्म तू ही जाने, क्या बुरा है क्या भला, तेरे रास्ते पे मैं तो आंख मूंद के चला। इसे हम सरेंडर टू द लॉर्ड एंड परफॉर्म योर एक्शंस से जोड़ सकते हैं। आशा है आप सभी को भी ये गीत पसंद आएगी। जय हो शंकरा, आदिदेव शंकरा, तेरे जाप के बिना चले ये सांस किस तरह, मेरा कर्म तू ही जाने, क्या बुरा है क्या भला, तेरे रास्ते पे मैं तो आंख मूंद के चला, तेरे नाम की जोत ने सारा हर लिया तमस मेरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा, भोलेनाथ शंकरा, हे त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकर, नमो नमो जी शंकर, भोलेनाथ शंकर, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा। सृष्टि के जन्म से भी पहले तेरा वास था, ये जग रहे या ना रहे, रहेगी तेरी आस्था। क्या समय क्या प्रलय, दोनों में तेरी महानता, महानता, महानता। सीपियों के ओट में मोतिया हो जिस तरह, मेरे मन में शंकरा तू बसा है उस तरह। मुझे भरम था जो है मेरा था कभी नहीं मेरा, अर्थ क्या निरर्थ क्या जो भी है सभी तेरा, तेरे सामने है झुका मेरे सर पे हाथ रख तेरा। नमो नमो जी शंकर, भोलेनाथ शंकर, हे त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकर, नमो नमो जी शंकर, भोलेनाथ शंकर, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा। चंद्रमा ललाट पे भस्म है भुजाओं में, वस्त्र बाग छाल का है खड़ा पाँव में। प्यास क्या और तुझे गंगा है तेरी जटाओं में, जटाओं में, जटाओं में। दूसरों के वास्ते तू सदैव है जिया, मांगा कुछ कभी नहीं तूने सिर्फ है दिया। समुद्र मंथन का था समय जो आ पड़ा, द्वंद्व दोनों लोक में विषामृत पे था छिड़ा। अमृत सभी में बांट के प्याला विष का तूने खुद पिया। नमो नमो जी शंकर, भोलेनाथ शंकर, हे त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकर, नमो नमो जी शंकर, भोलेनाथ शंकर, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Avinash, for a beautiful rendering of the song. That brings us to the close of today's program. There is a beautiful vachana by great Basavanna. Nadapriya Shivanembaru, Nadapriya Shivanalla. Vedapriya Shivanembaru, Vedapriya Shivanalla. ನಾದವನ್ನುಡಿದ ರಾವಣಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಧಾಯುಷ್ಯ, ವೇದವನ್ನೋದಿದ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ಶಿರ ಹೋಯಿತು. ನಾದಪ್ರಿಯನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ವೇದಪ್ರಿಯನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಭಕ್ತಿಪ್ರಿಯನೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವ. Yes, Shiva gets pleased by pure bhakti. Let us worship him with pure heart, with complete devotion. Shiva means auspiciousness. Shankara means one who always does Mangala, good. Let us chant his auspicious name, become auspicious, and ultimately become Shiva himself and serve this world. Let's become eternal. Let's become pure, become enlightened, and become liberated. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivasvarupam, Nityoham, Shuddhoham, Buddhoham, Nityoham. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivasvarupam, Shivasvarupam.